Lincoln Financial Field. But what we lack in proximity, we make up for in film study. And each and every week, we'll be bringing you in-depth film breakdowns from across the pond and the Sooner State. Welcome to On the Shane page. I am your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. And I'm joined by BGN's own film guru, Jonny Page. Give him a follow on Twitter at JohnnyPage9. Jonny, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Frustrating loss. That was so people that I was talking to online, I thought we were going to lose. I'll be honest, I wasn't particularly optimistic about this one. And I got up at 5 a.m. as I like to do, despite not sleeping particularly great. And I'm like, oh God, let's watch this. And then we're killing them. And I'm like, this is fun. And then it all didn't get fun. This is probably the most frustrated I've been. The Lions' game plan annoyed me a lot more. Just in general, this game annoyed me. We'll get into it, but yeah, we've got a lot to talk about this week. I feel like there's a lot to get into. We're going to do it a little bit different style-wise because it's a short week and because we're getting to this point of the season now where there are things that I think everyone wants us to talk about. So I feel like we might as well just get into it. Did you watch the game live? I assume you did.
Yeah, I did. Classic mistake, Jonny, is thinking at any point during an Eagles game, oh, this is fun.
Yes, that's true. This year has been the case.
Legitimate question. The Eagles have played 11 football games this year.
Ooh.
How many of them have been enjoyable?
Oh, right. You've put me on the spot. So when did we start? So was week one fun? We beat the Cowboys. It was Jalen Hurts ran a bit. This one game was fun. What else has been fun?
Beating the Giants in week 8. Those are the only two games to me that I've enjoyed watching.
Really? Not Chiefs, Bucks, Rams, Broncos definitely was not. Giants was not. I mean, the Vikings was all right, wasn't it? We played better against the Vikings.
Yeah.
And we battered the Giants the second time. You said that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a few. I think it was all maybe better early on in the season than you think. But what's interesting is when you look at those first few games, like Bucks, Jalen Hurts was 9 carries for 62 yards. They were running him early. First game of the season, he scrambled a lot against Cowboys, didn't he? He was 14 for 62 in week 1 as well.
If I recall, a lot of those were scrambles, not designed runs, though. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah,
which I will do now that we mentioned it.
That is true. Right. Explain to the people, how do you want to do this one, Shane, then? I think we're going to start with the offense because that's the one that people are talking about, which I actually think is a little surprising. I think the defense has got off lightly this week, Shane. I'll be honest. I think because of the injuries in the secondary, it was just like, oh, well, the Eagles couldn't do anything. I was like, well, they lost Andrew McCooper very late. Very late. All right, they lost Blankenship, and all right, they lost Adoree Jackson. But everyone thinks Adoree Jackson sucks anyway. And, okay, they lost Blankenship. They still had Quinion, they still had the G, and they still had Dean and Bourne. The whole front was there, and they got battered. Like I think because of the random Cowboys fumble, because of the interception on the goal line, and because of the 4th and 1 stop, people haven't really spoke about the fact the Cowboys had 473 yards of offense at 7 yards of play and 25 first downs and only 3 punts. Like, you take away that fumble and interception, I think the defense is getting a bit more of a rollicking, and we will get into that when we get to it. But let's start with the offense this week.
By the way, before we do, week 1, Jalen Hurts had 14 carries for 62 yards. 3 of those were kneel downs, so it was actually 11 for 65. And 9 of those 11 were scrambles, and 2 of them were sneaks. It was 0 designed runs week 1.
Interesting. Yeah. So it has been mainly scrambles. Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to do it a little bit different this week, partially short week related, and trying to wrap up work with Thanksgiving. Just time is an issue this week, and so we have less clearly defined points and more just going to have some conversations about some different aspects, about run game and pass game on offense, about pass rush and secondary on defense. And so it'll be perhaps a less organized than normal, but a little more just free-flowing conversation. And we'll throw some film clips up on the screen as well. So, Jonny, do you want to talk run game or pass game first on offense?
I think we should do run game, and it's quite a nice game to break down because they barely ran the ball. Yeah. So you can really focus on individual runs. So let's just say big picture, before we show the individual clips. Also on Patreon, Shane's had a breakdown of the run game. We won't talk too much about Hurts in particular, because we say it every week. Shane does the QB pass game review. The run game was abysmal. Like, big picture, it was shocking. And what we'll do is we'll look at the plays specifically, but I think looking at the plays is like, although it's fine, you have to sort of throw in a little bit of big picture as well. So like a big picture, they're not running duo anymore. If you take out the successful Hurts runs, it's basically inside or outside zone and counter. I wanted more counter. It's not working. So I called for more gap scheme. I do think they're now running it consistently, maybe too consistently. It was good like last week, but it was poor this week. And I don't think they adjusted for who they were playing as well. And I'll talk about that with Quinn and Williams. And I just find it really weird that they ran duo against the Giants and Saquon Barkley goes like 70 yards and scores a massive touchdown, and they bullied them, and they just haven't done it since. So yeah, the run game's weird, but let's... do you have Hurts in the run game clips, or are you just showing Barkley, Shane?
I just have Barkley. Oh, I have Hurts clips I can throw up, though.
No, I don't think we need to. Do we just all admit, like, we're all adults here, do we all just admit that the run game is obviously, like, better with Hurts? Like, it's not debatable, is it? Like, we all agree? It's just a simple case of how much they want to do it due to injury, I'm guessing.
Yes.
That's like it. It's so blatantly obvious their best run is
Hurts.
The empty QB draw.
Hurts downhill.
Yeah, it's incredibly obvious to everyone.
It doesn't even
watching.
have to be empty. They did a counter bash play in this game.
Yeah, and if they're just waiting
downhill,
if they're just waiting to like the playoffs, then fine. If they get to the playoffs and Hurts runs QB draw and QB counter bash like 15 times, I'll be the first time I had up and say fair enough, it was worth it. But they might be doing that on the road to the Rams. So is it SoFi? Because they might not have the first seed by that point. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I get it. Hurts runs QB counter bash, and everyone shouts at me and goes, he's injured. I get it. Players get injured. I think Hurts has to run, personally. And I've said that consistently all year. We are now in, week 13? I think at this point, I think, yeah.
All right. So before we actually look at these clips, Jonny, I want to ask you a question. Saquon Barkley has 10 carries for 22 yards in this game, 2.2 yards per attempt. How many yards after contact do you think he had?
I don't even want to know. Wait, what was it? How many do you have total?
22 yards total.
Oh, I don't know. Did 16 of them?
32.
Oh, even better.
So he had more yards after contact than he had total yards in this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fun. Okay, so let me share my screen here. And here, let's do this. Let's go through, because we've got a comment here from Brett Eclipse asking, where do you assign the blame percentage-wise? And so let's just do that. Let's go through, as we go through these plays. That did not work. I thought it'd put us both small in the corner. As we go through these plays, Jonny, let's, on each of them, just kind of assign the blame, and we'll see where we end up.
I won't do it. We won't maybe do every single huge in-depth, but... Yeah.
So first one here, looks like this is 11 personnel, and you get the motion. We get double teams on the interior, and Fred Johnson gets demolished. To me, there's a lot of Fred Johnson on this play, just getting pushed into the hole. I would say Saquon could cut this upfield, but I also think he probably sees the guy at Landon Dickerson here with the helmet inside, and so maybe you want to try to get outside. So I would say he could do a better job getting uphill, but I'm putting that one pretty much on Fred Johnson. What are your thoughts?
I realised I was on mute. I was literally waffling away. People probably looking. Yeah, I'd go half Fred, half Barkley. I think that's one of the worst Barkley reps, personally. And there's not many bad Barkley reps. Okay. And again, it's classic, just standard shotgun inside zone. Nothing fancy. The Eagles used to just blow up teams doing this, and it's just not working this year. So yeah, nothing fancy, no like distracting motion, just standard inside zone.
All right, so we'll go half Barkley, half Johnson on that one, and I'll keep a tally here. So now we go, this looks like 11 personnel again. You're going to get pullers across the formation. Yep. And
definitely not Barkley.
Yeah, once again, I look at Fred Johnson, whose entire job is to take this guy to the left, and he just gets beat. Yep.
Fred Johnson back. I don't really think Dickerson gets any real pop for a puller encounter either, and Goddard doesn't get any pop, but that's because he's just shoved back straight away. Yeah. So yeah,
I'd say like 75% Fred Johnson, like 25% Landon Dickerson.
Yep, I would agree. O-line definitely not on Barkley. Just really poor execution up front. I think teams are starting to know this is coming as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we get through the clips.
Yep. All right, so let's go to the next one. We got 11 personnel again. We got double teams on the interior.
Yeah.
And
I think this is. I didn't think this was due. I think it was just inside zone. I know they have 2 double teams, but
right.
That's just the way it worked out because of the front, the 4-man front.
So to me, I think Dickerson should do a better job of helping Mailata get control of his guy.
Yep. We talk
on
about
the way to the second
all
level.
The time.
But also, Fred Johnson just whiffs.
Yep, Fred Johnson, Dickerson, Mailata, definitely not Barkley. We spoke about this a lot this year. I don't know if it's arrogance, where they don't help out very much. They don't help each other as much as they should, which is a problem I have with the run game in general.
Yeah, so how do you want to score that one? Like 75%
Fred
Johnson, 25% Dickerson again?
Yep, no Barkley once again.
Yeah. All right.
Was this the only Cameron Latu snap? Am I making that up?
I think it is. So this is 13 personnel. It's also tackle over.
Yeah, and it worked, didn't it? That's why I mentioned it.
Well, it works, but it works because Barkley's
because
phenomenal.
of Barkley.
Because
yeah.
Osa Odigizua lined up over Steen here just gets way upfield.
Yeah.
And
But
Barkley's
Shane,
just
remember,
able to get to the outside.
Remember, it's hard to blame the Eagles because the Cowboys did put 5 men on the line of scrimmage, and it was only made legal last week.
Yeah.
And the Eagles didn't read the updated rulebook, so they couldn't have possibly prepared for this, sadly.
Yeah. What is Cam Jurgens doing here? Like,
completely missing?
Yeah, like, I don't understand what he's doing.
No. I don't understand quite a lot of the time the way they're blocking things this year. Everything's a bit weird. Watching the Cowboys, I know you haven't done the whole thing, watching the Cowboys offensive film is night and day how the O-line is coached, especially with tight ends, which is depressing. But we might talk about that a bit.
So, I guess we'll put that one on Jurgens pretty much wholly.
Yeah, it worked because of Barkley. So if you're going to moan at Barkley for missing a hole in the first play, you've got to then give him credit for getting out of that one.
Yeah. Okay, so now we get...
Counter again.
Yeah, we get no displacement whatsoever by Tyler Steen as a puller.
Nothing. They're getting nothing up front.
So I guess I would put that one pretty much entirely on Steen. And
well,
who
look
also
at Dickerson
holds
as well.
play.
Look at Dickerson as well. They can't pin down in counter. They cannot pin down. Like,
yeah.
Dickerson is like gone. Yeah, they just can't get any push. Can we like call a spade as well? Forget PFF grades. I know this play is not a bad one, but Mailata is not playing well.
No, Mailata's been bad.
I don't care what I see, and I genuinely think, and this is me as well, no one studies offensive line unless you're like Brandon Thorne on every snap, unless it's like your job. We obviously watch it closely, but I'd be lying if that's the thing I'm first watching. And PFF is really easy to judge offensive linemen because you just look at pressures and you sort of trust them, don't you? He's not playing well. Ignore PFF.
They only listed him as a one pressure in this game, and he legitimately allowed a pressure on back-to-back snaps at one point.
Yeah. So and they chipped him. They gave him help a few times in this game. I don't know if you noticed that, but Mailata was not left on an island, considering Fred Johnson was opposite him. So yeah, once again, counter not working. I think teams knowing what's happening, just a complete whiff.
Let's say like 75% Steen, 25% Dickerson.
Dickerson, yep. Nothing Barkley can do. Just bad.
All right. So
bad.
Let's keep rolling. Yeah, not much here for Barkley.
If people want to disagree and tell us we're missing what Barkley's doing wrong, like, please do. By the way, it's all counter again. Same run. Same exact run.
Yeah, this is the one that Brandon Thorne loved. You get Cam Jurgens trying to get to a 3 technique, Quinnen Williams with no help. I'm not counting Cam Jurgens off for this. Nobody can realistically be expected to make that block. So it's a terrible design.
Yep. And it's also everything to do with the offense. They get in too late, so they can't audible. They're not prepared. I've never heard a staff or players openly admit they're not prepared for something, as obviously as the Eagles did.
And then Steen just totally whiffs.
Whiffs again. Yeah, and Steen's been all right this year. It wasn't good in this game, but he hasn't been the worst one this year. Didn't have a good game. But seriously, have you heard like so many people just outright come out and say, "Oh, we didn't know what they were going to do. We weren't expecting it." They were just not prepared for it. Yeah. It's not us guessing. They told us. The players all told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fully designed, and it's not something that's gone away this year. They're asking offensive linemen to make a really difficult block, which is why I go back to this idea of arrogance, potentially. This idea that they think they're better than they are, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm putting 25% on Steen there, 75% on design.
Yep, I agree.
So now you come out 12 personnel with Kylan Granson and Grant Calcaterra, and you condense your receivers.
It works all the time, so why not do it again?
So here's my favorite part. We can't run because it's 5-man fronts, right? So we go 9 guys across the line of scrimmage against a 4-man front, and watch how good this works.
Yeah. Is it our good friend Grant Calcaterra struggling to get any push in the slightest? It's honestly, go and watch anyone that wants to watch a difference. Go and watch the Cowboys runs in this game. Just watch tight ends 86 and 89, Shoemaker, and a guy I can't even remember who he's called. That's how much I dislike or know him. Just really good. I'll show a clip of it later on actually on ball. Eagles tight ends are nothing. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll say that one's Calcaterra. This one's interesting, Johnny, because I don't understand here. So first of all,
yeah, there's lots of disagreement about this one, isn't there? There's lots.
Okay.
Online.
So first of all,
yeah, this is the Is It Barkley one. So it depends on how you want to call it.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get the edge. But
so I think this is a sweep, and I think that Barkley is following his blocks, and I think Barkley could go a bit more rogue, but I think people also moan about Barkley going rogue. And I think here he's trying to get to the outside, which is the design of the play. I think, if anything, he could go rogue and go inside.
Yeah, my question is, if we're trying to get outside, why is A.J. Brown not knocking this? You can't expect Dallas Goedert to get the edge on an edge rusher that's lined up outside of him. And so,
Shane, have you seen? I don't think you have it in this clip, but they do a fake, like the toss little thing to Devontae Smith that went for like 11 yards or whatever it was, how many yards it went for.
Yeah.
On that play, Dallas Goedert is completely outside of the guy he's pinning, and it's night and day. That's a coach asking a player to do something easier. Here, they are obviously not expecting him to be that wide, and they don't adjust in the slightest. So you can't pin a guy. Goddard can't pin him there. That's a really hard block. There needs to be a different angle. He needs to be further out wide. It needs to be like a crack toss. He's coming back across. Now, could Barkley go rogue here? Yes, I think he could. I think it's not as easy as a screenshot makes it, because when you play it, you can see the guys head inside and guys on the backside. And Dickerson can't run. Like, you're asking Dickerson to run a mile. I want Cam Jurgens on the move in those plays every time. I don't want Dickerson doing it, but there we go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say design on the. It's either design or AJ Brown. It's one of the two. And if it's AJ Brown, then it's still design because you should. So yeah, I'm gonna say that one's design.
Underrated problem, Shane. Name the Eagles' best blocking receiver.
Yeah. Also, like, why not just like kind of kick him out and follow a puller right through here?
Who is the best Eagles blocking receiver?
Eagles' best blocking receiver?
Yep.
Johnny Wilson?
Yeah. Who's active now? Who is it? Do they have one? When people say, like, why is the run game not working? Well, the receivers don't block and the tight ends don't block.
Yeah.
So you're asking the offensive line to be exceptional already, and they're most definitely not exceptional. So, yeah, in the comments, tell me, who's the Eagles' best blocking receiver? It might be AJ. I don't know. Dotson,
I think it's Devontae Smith.
Is it Devontae Smith, though, Shane? Is it?
I didn't say he's good at it. I said it's the best one
effort, it might be. Can he actually do it? I don't know. I don't know.
All right, anyway. 2 of them left here. 11 personnel under center. Yeah. That's actually maybe like the best blocked run that they have.
Yeah, probably.
To be honest.
Maybe interesting it's under center.
It's a good cut.
Good double team at the front. Dickerson managed to just like toss his guy down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Dickerson's trying to reach block the guy, and he gets across, and then he throws the guy down. So, like, I'm never going to criticize a guy for putting his defender on the ground. It's just unfortunate it's right in the cutback lane.
Yeah.
And it's right in the cutback lane.
Doesn't help massively.
It's probably in the cutback lane because you asked Dallas Goedert to block an edge rusher one-on-one, and he gets beat easily.
Yep, and Mailata gets beat badly as well, by the way. If you look backside, he can't make the block on the backside. Linebacker, he whiffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to assign any blame for that one, though.
No, that's fine. Perfectly fine.
It's generally a positive run.
And interesting, it's under center,
yeah,
which I'm not sure they actually do well, to be honest with you, unless they're running duo. And we might show that with the next one. Is this the next one?
Yeah, this is the last play. This is jumbo personnel. Matt Pryor's on the field to the left.
Outside zone again.
Dallas Goedert. and they're going to run to the right.
This is when Jurgens gets killed and Fred Johnson gets killed. Yep. I don't know what you think, but I don't think Jurgens is very good under center. We always talk about a QB being different. You have to snap and play quickly. It's different to a shotgun. I don't think he's particularly good at it. He gets blown up a lot on outside zone under center runs. He cannot get, once again, it's also shame. Look at the block. I'm picking on Jurgens. Now I'm watching it again. Look what they're asking him to do.
Yep.
Like, Steen's meant to help out, but he doesn't really enough. Steen needs to jolt him inside. Like, you need to physically shove the guy so Jurgens has an angle. There's no excuse for Fred Johnson.
And why are we putting a sixth offensive lineman on the field and asking him to get to the second level on the backside? Yeah. He doesn't get there.
No, they can't. And he's also Matt Pryor, isn't it? Who's just not athletic at all.
We're asking a backup, unathletic offensive tackle to get to the second level so our tight end can block an edge rusher one-on-one.
How many runs have we seen then? A couple, one inside zone, outside zone encounter.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Okay, maybe we saw a sweep. All right, fair enough.
So I'm going to say that one's like design / Fred Johnson mostly.
Yeah, design, Fred Johnson. A little bit of Jurgens as well.
Yeah. So if you are playing along at home, what we ended up deciding value-wise is we put about 2.5 of the bad runs on Fred Johnson, about a half a bad run on Barkley, 3/4 of a bad run on Dickerson, 1 on Steen, 1 on Jurgens, 2 on design, and 1.5 on Grant Calcaterra is kind of where we ended up here.
As always in the NFL, when things are going wrong, it's never because of one reason, which is always an issue.
Yeah. So, okay, that is the run game portion of it, I guess. It's just bad. And honestly, like, people talked about, like, the 3rd and 2. Why did the Eagles not try to run the ball on that 3rd and 2? I was very happy the Eagles just entirely abandoned the run game because every run play in this game was just a waste of a down.
Just 30 seconds, Shane. What do they do to fix it? Is it fixable? You know what my answer is going to be.
I mean, it's Hurts runs, and your design has to be better, but I don't think the run game is fixable with Fred Johnson in the starting lineup and as poorly as Cam Jurgens is
more
playing
under
right
center
now.
And duo go heavy again. I think they could do that. I also think they could do a bit of both, really. Go shotgun, more RPO, more read option style. They can try and get Hurts more involved. It's really tricky because I say Hurts should be involved, and I also think I wouldn't mind under center, just a little bit of both, but just not like straight up under center, outside zone where they can't do it. They're going to go under center. Let's just go duo. Let's just get downhill. Let's do it. Let's get really, really physical. Yeah, tough one. Really tough one. But it's broken at the moment. And it is a huge issue. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to defend the pass game a little bit this week, which everyone will love. I've said it all year. I really, really think the run game is the issue. And I think the pass game I can sort of deal with because I know what it is. Whereas the run game is the one that is annoying me.
Yeah. I think I saw, among all qualifying runners this season, which is... Oh, shoot. Where'd it go? Hold on. Stand by. This is great radio. Saquon Barkley ranks 43rd out of 49 runners this season in success rate. And one of the guys that ranks lower than him is Drake May, who is a quarterback. It's just
mad. It's so poor. It's so poor. Right, that's enough time on run game because it's frustrating. Let's just talk pass game then. So... I didn't hate the pass game as much. I thought there was some goods, and people will obviously disagree with me. I thought they came out early on and were very good. I thought there was a lot more 3-by-1. I thought they isolated AJ Brown a lot. I think the first touchdown, which is play one on my film, Fred, I know most people have probably seen it, but it's a good example of this. 3-by-1, AJ Brown isolated. They went down the field a lot against his Cowboys secondary. Let's just talk a little bit about positives for me. So I think I did see some progress. I know the hitch numbers were really high, but I felt they did have some good stuff. They had that play that I was on about on the touchdown to AJ Brown. They obviously had a couple of deep shots at Devontae Smith that Hurts missed one of them. He hit one of them. But I think the intent to go down the field against the Cowboys was a lot more aggressive, which personally I preferred. The one I wanted to talk about as well, which was really good, ironically, was play. It is play 13. I lied. It's play 15. Play 15. This is a really cool one. So I don't know if you saw this. Basically, just a flood concept. Like wow. But I was like, oh my god, they're beating zone coverage. It was like a flood with a post rather than a go. I was like, oh my goodness, they're starting to flood the zone. This is what we've been calling for all year. And guess what, Shane?
Penalty.
Turns out Hurts can throw a really good intermediate out as well. Like, who saw that coming? He's only been doing it basically his whole career. And then, penalty. Like, I thought there was some positives. I do want to talk about the 3rd and 2 play because I've got a lot of thoughts on it.
Ooh, I do too.
You're probably going to moan a little bit about the offensive passing game because I know you felt it was much ado. But I struggle to blame Patulo in this game. I'm much more on Sirianni. I'm much more on the rubbish field goal. I'm much more on the design and things like... I struggle to go after Patulo too much in this game. I think they did try and go down the field. I actually think it's a myth that they got conservative play calling wise. I think if anyone got conservative, it was Hurts and the actual players who got conservative. I don't think they stopped throwing down the field. They didn't start running on every down. I think they did try and throw. They did try and go down the field. That's just sort of my opinion, I guess.
Yeah, the Eagles score on their first 3 drives. Granted, they got bailed out on a penalty on a punt that probably wasn't a penalty. On one of those, they hit that big deep ball that was a fantastic catch by Devontae Smith to get out of a 3rd and 12 on another one. But what were they doing? You mentioned a lot of it. 3-by-1 isolating A.J. Brown, less of the 2-by-2 stuff. They put him in. They did 3-by-1 at times with him in a nasty split, which is just reduced where he can run outbreakers. That's what the touchdown was on. It was a post route out of a nasty split. They went tempo. They no-huddled 7 times on the first 3 drives. And then they no-huddled 1 other time until the last drive of the game. It's just so clear to me what makes this offense work. And it's going tempo, it's getting to the line, it's giving them time to hard count, to check plays at the line of scrimmage. And they did it early in this game, and then they just stopped doing it. And the offense stagnated. And instead of pushing some of those easy buttons like tempo, like empty, they just continued to try to do the same things that they did to get into that rut, to try to get out of it. But I'm with you in that, as frustrating as the offense was, Kevin Patulo was like number 3 or 4 on the list of issues in this game because the offensive line was horrendous as pass blockers. And the offensive line and penalties. The offensive line committed 5 penalties in this game, and they allowed Hurts to be pressured on like 39% of his dropbacks.
Pass protection wasn't great.
Yeah, Hurts has his quickest time to pressure of the last 4 years this season, and he has his highest pressure rate of the last 3 years. And people will say, well, he holds onto the ball forever. He has his highest pressure rate of the last 3 years despite having his lowest time to throw of the last 3 years. And there's just a lot of examples of really poor pass protection. I'll throw a couple of them up here on the screen, and I won't draw the plays up, but you can just look at these. This is under center play action, and look how open the dig route is. But there is a guy immediately in his lap after he executes the play fake. And so there's just no chance. It's horrendous pass protection on this one.
Pass pro was poor. Pass, and I think it impacted Hurts as well. And I think
by the way, again, Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a fair criticism of Hurts. I think it's perfectly fine to say it. We're allowed to say bad things, despite the fact people think we don't. I think he's played with good pass protection his whole career. And I think that leads to bad tendencies. And I think he's quite... When was the last... how many sack fumbles does Hurts have where he gets sacked within 2 seconds? It's rare. I think when pressure is coming, I think he's not used to it. Some QBs have grown up playing behind bad offensive lines. Hurts has not. And I think sometimes he can get a little bit shaky behind pressure. Again, people can say I'm making excuses, but I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I don't think he's used to it. And I think that it's been a problem in this game in particular.
I want you to tell me which of these 2 plays PFF doesn't count a pressure on Mailata, because these are back-to-back plays. And so edge rusher, right around the corner, barely touches him, and Hurts scrambles and throws it away to get to 3rd down. right? And then you get to third down, and we'll watch the back view of this one, and watch Jordan Mailata again. Again, back-to-back plays. And see, they have time to even diagnose here, but boom, just instantly gives up pressure to the inside.
That's a rubbish play call, that one, by the way.
Yeah. And then the last one I put on here, but just another example of poor offensive line play, poor blocking here. So pass protection was really bad in this game.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wait, maybe that's not the one I meant to put on there.
That's a good play.
No, that was. I meant to put that on there because
it was Fred Johnson.
Fred Johnson, hands to the face. Yeah, I was watching Mailata thinking this was another bad one at him. This is Fred Johnson's penalty. So
can I talk about a couple of plays before we finish up with the offense? So there was quite a big narrative this week about Hurts being passive and not throwing it, and I think it was true. I think for the first time this week, and I want to talk, I guess, big picture, a little bit of philosophical stuff and things I didn't like. So it was play. There wasn't loads. When people criticize Hurts, I sometimes think that was 15 plays or something. There was a few he missed. There was a few he'd want back in this game. Absolutely. The one that I think he missed was play 7. And for what it's worth, this is why it's so fun doing this as a job, because I think this was the best game Hurts thrown to the middle of the field in forever. Yet the examples we're going to show you are him missing the middle of the field. So it's go figure. I think he has Devontae Smith here. If you pause it early, I think he has Devontae possibly. So I think you could argue now. I don't think it's the easiest throw. I don't think it's the easiest throw by any means.
But he's primarying A.J. Brown, which doesn't make any sense to me.
No, he should have come off this earlier. And I wonder if this is a little bit... Now, he looks now. I think he can throw it if he's on time. I think it's a little bit of conservatism in Hurts' game. And again, everyone just will say, you're making excuses. I don't know. We know that the organisation is drilling no turnovers. We know that for a fact. Sirianni says it every time. So is he being told by coaching staff, don't throw it unless you're certain, live to fight another down? We don't know. We're speculating. I haven't got a clue. All I can tell you is I know what Sirianni says in press conferences. But then the other issue with Shane is if you're going to defend Hurts and play devil's advocate, look how good the protection is on this particular one. What does he know should happen if he holds it a beat longer? He knows that Devontae should come open. Why does Devontae not come open? Because A.J. Brown basically jogs. And do you know what? I'm not going to pick on A.J. Brown because every receiver does this on clear out routes on this offense. If A.J. Brown goes gung-ho, get down the field, Devontae Smith might actually come open. And you could argue that Hurts is waiting for him to come open. It's also PI, by the way.
Is it a clear out route? Because it looks like... See, this is what didn't make sense to me because it's where Hurts is looking, and AJ's running a corner route with a safety over the top against outside
and then he maybe just goes outside of structure. Yeah, it's a slightly weird play. I'd give it an example of a play I actually quite like, though, in terms of you've got a deeper route, you've got a crossing, and you've got a short. So it's a bit better against zone. They're actually high-lowing someone.
Why don't we run a post route and see if we can split the safeties and really drive this guy off?
What this offense really misses, by the way, is a super fast guy.
Yeah.
They could really do with a clear out runner. Just sprint every play, you'll get one a game. And I'd love them to go and get a faster receiver as their receiver 3 or receiver 4 next year. Doesn't have to be great, just go. Basically, most snaps, just go. Get down the field. I was going
to say, if you say a name that starts with a Q, I'm leaving this podcast.
Runs with Mez Watkins.
Yeah.
We won't bring him in. And I wanted to also talk about the 3rd and 2 play. So should we do it?
Yes.
Because I think this is the most interesting play to look at. And as always, when I get an interesting play, I message my sources online, aka very clever people, and ask them what do I think I'm doing? How bad am I? And I've got lots of opinions and people I spoke to. So my initial opinion was, this is on Hurts. They're running Crash or a variation of Crash, and he should have Dotson. And this is why people in the comments, people listening, anyone that says they know everything is just lying. Because NFL's so hard, it's so difficult to break down. I think the play is bad, and you criticise the play for lots of hitches, curls. However, I'm going to be fair, Shane. They run a 2-on-2 Crash concept, and I called in the preview that Crash has worked against this team. I posted an example of Arizona doing it. So I can't then say that and then say I hate the play. Do I love Crash? No. Do I hate it based on the pre-snap leverage where it looks like they might get 2v2? I don't really. I think one of them could come open. So my initial thought was Hurts missed it. I think Hurts should stay on Dotson. But then I watched it back and I'm like, look when Hurts hits the back of his drop. I just watched Dotson's route. He takes him a really long time, Dotson. I think he needs to get off now, go. there's a false step. Eventually, he breaks out. And I feel like Hurts has already come off him. Why I think this is an issue is I think, and this is where football is so fun, I think Hurts this year has been better at processing than any other year. I think he's good at eliminating what isn't there. But I said a few weeks ago, one of the problems when you don't stare down one side of the field is if something comes open later, you've already moved off it. So I think if Hurts sticks with Dotson here, he might give him a chance to come open later in the route, but he doesn't. Based on the leverage, I don't think you can blame him for coming off him. I also think you can argue that similar as Dotson. Dotson has to run that little fancy step. He has to do that because it's tough for him to win because he's out leveraged.
Yep.
But I don't think once again the drop back matches the routes. So I just think it's like a little bit of everything. I don't think Dotson wins if he doesn't do his fancy step. I think you can criticize Hurts for not staying with him. You can criticize Hurts for coming off him, and you can even criticize the play call for saying that if the initial read isn't there, what's his other option? Imagine if we did boot action ever. I wouldn't have minded an under center boot play in here. Fake outside zone, run the other way, because at least then Hurts can run. The play they're running, Hurts has got no chance of running because it's a short drop, which means that the offensive line aren't really dropping with any depth. Goddard is standing right in front of him, so there's no room to run to the middle. So it's not really a play he can extend that easily either. And of course, pressure's in his face, by the way, which is another reason why he comes off Dotson. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of me saying, shut up when people online are just blaming one person or one thing. And I'm saying that even for Patullo. Not every play is as simple as it was X, it was Y, or it was Z. And I think we've got to be a bit more nuanced in how we talk about some of these things, which is hard for online. Because this is a good example of one where it's tough to know exactly who to blame, what you want to say. I think the biggest answer could be that the biggest problem is that they're dropping back in the shotgun on 3rd and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's my thoughts on 3rd and 2, and I have a lot of them, but I'll do them quickly. First of all, Jonny, who is lined up next to Jalen Hurts right now?
Oh, yeah, good. Good old personnel. Yeah, it's Shipley, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't want you to run on 3rd and 2 because your run game's been horrendous so far, but I would enjoy it if the Cowboys thought you might run on 3rd and 2. And so how about we put Saquon Barkley next to Jalen Hurts on 3rd and 2 instead of Will Shipley? So just a thought. You're coming out of a 2-minute warning. It's not like he just is winded from a big play the snap before. So personnel issue, put Barkley on the field. That's one thing. Another thing is, I feel like there's some saying we've used on this show before. Single high. What's the last part?
Yeah, I can't remember. Check it down. Throw a hitch.
Yeah. Single high, let it fly. I've got A.J. Brown on one side. I've got Devontae Smith on the other side. What if we just run sluggos from both sides? We've both said we are perfectly fine. Getting a first down here doesn't mean you win this football game, right? Maybe it's a little different if a first down wins you the football game, but a first down doesn't. You need to go 35, 40 yards and get in field goal range. So run a sluggo to both sides, and you can still run, some sort of man beater in case neither of those is open, but I trust one of those guys is going to get open. So you could do something like that. It's pretty clearly cover one man because your guys have outside leverage on everyone, and so
the one snap of man they play.
Yeah,
basically your game.
And he takes the quick drop because they're trying to throw this to A.J. Brown, but the Cowboys' hole defender sprints under it. And so, there's nobody in the middle of the field. And so they did this earlier, but instead of running the outbreaker, they snapped off a dig over the middle. You could do that. You should be able to read this out based on leverage. Goddard should not be settling up against man coverage. He should be continuing to run. Either he's open, which he would have been, watch Goddard and imagine he keeps running. That's a first down. But maybe it's not open, and you just clear out the middle of the field so Hurts can run. There are, pass protection issues. Hurts gets driven off, so it's everything. It's everything on this play. Is Crash bad? No. Is it bad to have Will Shipley?
By the way.
Yeah. Is it bad to have Shipley on the field every once in a while? No.
It's square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff stacks up into a high leverage play where your personnel doesn't make sense. Your play call doesn't make sense. The execution's bad from a blocking standpoint. all of that stuff adds up. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought, I guess, on the 3rd and 2 is, could Hurts have thrown it to Dotson? Yes.
Yeah.
They were clearly trying to throw it to AJ. That was the primary, and the Cowboys took it away, and pressure's in his lap. So
Yeah.
it's tough, and that's where I take issue. This is where I do take issue with like Patullo. How's this what you're coming out in on a 3rd and 2 like this out of the 2-minute warning? So,
Yep.
not that there's not blame to go around for your offensive line, too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. We spoke about similar things, and there were some good stuff on the offense this week. I mean that, throwing the ball, that there was some better stuff. It's like the one thing that I really, and this is the final thing I say on the offense, I would just love to ask the offensive staff is, what the hell happens when they do a good stuff one week and it never comes back? It is not a joke. It is. I keep talking about it online. It's the duo run versus Giants, never to be seen. And it's the RPO world versus the Broncos. I find it really peculiar how they go away from things. Even this game, they're running crash. We haven't seen crash in weeks. They used to run crash every play. And we didn't see flood at all. Like, finally, we saw flood. Yeah, just tricky. We've been going on too long. We've been going on too long on the offense. Once again, I don't deserve our time for this long. Let's transition over to the defense. How much of it have you watched on a short week, Shane?
I have not watched very much, so
It's outrageous.
I
You
watched
hear
a
this,
little
people?
bit. Yeah, I
What
know.
was someone
I
said
watched,
earlier on the half page? Bring it back. Hashtag
Yeah.
bring it back.
I watched some situationally stuff, but I haven't watched the whole defense. I didn't tweet any of it. So,
Yeah.
take us
So-
away, Johnny.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think they've got away with criticism online this week. I really do. Not that I care whether they get criticism online, but as in everyone spoke about the offense non-stop. But I'm like, I said the stats at the start. Defense got low, like sort of battered in this game. I didn't love what Fangio did. I'll be honest. It wasn't my favourite Fangio game. Should we just talk Breda Clip saying it's an offense without an identity? I don't know if he's quoting my BGN headline from this week. If he is, then well done. If he's not, then smart minds, because that was my BGN article headline, was an offense without an identity. So I felt the biggest issue they had this week, and it's not been an issue for a while, was the pass rush really, really sucked. Really sucked. And we've obviously loved Jaden Phillips of late, and he didn't have a good game. They just couldn't really get pressure. The Cowboys done some really, really good things. I thought they did some really good things up front, where they used, as I mentioned yesterday, like a lot of like, how do I say, like they were pulling like guards and stuff. It was just, they had like quite an interesting way of blocking this this Eagles pass rush, and it made a massive difference. And I am trying to get my thread up, but for some reason my Twitter is showing that I haven't posted a defensive thread. I'm now thinking, did I even do it? But of course
You did. I have it pulled
Just
up.
show play one. This is a good example.
I will,
big...
Let me mention real quick.
Yep.
So the Eagles, first game out of the bye, once they have Phillips, they have a 40.5% pressure rate, a 41% pressure rate the next week, and then against the Cowboys, it was all the way down to a 30% pressure rate.
Yeah, and so just this play, I like it because it sums up the numbers. There's a couple of things to look out for on play one of the film thread. I'll talk more about the secondary in a second, but I'll be honest, I felt a lot for Adoree Jackson on this game. I don't think Fangio to me just said go and play. Pickens one-on-one, go and play. CeeDee Lamb one-on-one, go and play. We're not giving you any help. Here he's just one-on-one, and he's got forever. It's what, cover 3, cover 9, whatever you want to call it. He's got to cover a crossing route coming from miles away, which is really hard. But look at what the Cowboys do in pass protection. I think they use a tight end and a running back on Nolan Smith here at the top. They did this routinely. I'm telling you, they use so many creative ways of blocking plays. It was not just a straight-up 5-man protection. And it showed because the Eagles really couldn't seem to adjust. I think they got out-coached a little bit. They got out-schemed a little bit. And they struggled to get players open. They ran a dagger like this 10 times off play action. George Pickens had a deep dig caught later on, and someone in the Discord commented like Adoree Jackson got killed on them. I'm like, he did, but he's one-on-one with George Pickens for like 5 seconds.
Playing from outside leverage with no help,
so, I mean,
because the linebackers are getting no depth at all.
Yeah, they really, really won on early play action. They won these like deep over dagger routes, and yeah, they had the Eagles sort of in an issue up front. And I'll talk briefly about the secondary in a second because I don't want to get too heavy on the defense this week.
Question, real quick.
They played really well, by the way. Cowboys offense really well. If you take away the mistakes, they were very, very good. Big errors. They had a few of them, obviously Dak and whoever the hell the little running back is who fumbled. But their pass protection was exceptional. They won. Ajomo got nothing up front, like absolutely nothing, and they really struggled to get after the QB. Sorry, yep.
What? Why is neither linebacker getting any depth here once it's clear this is a pass? Like here, it's clear this is a pass.
Yeah, it happened quite a lot.
Not responsible for the flat. Not responsible for the flat. You're responsible for the middle of the field. He runs into the flat. Bond just kind of stands there and doesn't get depth.
Yeah, play action one.
This isn't even a good play action. Like, it's not even a good play fake. They don't actually think this is a run past, like, now. And they just don't get any depth.
I don't think the Kobe Dean was particularly good at getting depth all game, I'll be honest. I was surprised they didn't give Campbell too many snaps. And the other thing I didn't like was that they only rushed the Kobe Deans. I say only. They rushed him 6 times. And he was definitely the best pass rusher on the day. So it just would have been nice to have him rush more on the day because it was clear that he was the one that was getting pressure. But there you go. Pass rush was a real issue. Issue.
Yeah. I mean, I think Adoree Jackson is obviously not like the guy you want to be starting outside, but I spoke on last week's show about some of the things the Eagles have done to help him out. Consistently playing him on the wide side of the field so it gives him more time to react. Yeah. They push coverage his way, and they leave Q on an island. But at the end of the day, when you have no help over the middle because your linebackers aren't gaining depth and you have no pass rush, like, he's going to get exposed against a CeeDee Lamb or a George Pickens. Like, those are two very good receivers. CeeDee Lamb's inability to catch the ball aside. And
George Pickens might be I don't know, Shane. He's the best receiver in the league at the moment. Outside of JSN, obviously, who is the best. He was incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk secondary then. Let's talk about him. I didn't like the game plan. There was too many plays. I've already mentioned that one where I think there was too many where they just left Adoree on an island. So I'll just show you a couple of examples. I think later on they did adjust at times. So play 4 on my film, Fred. I don't like, when you pause it here, seeing Cuba DeJean on CeeDee Lamb, Quinion Mitchell on a guy called Ryan Flournoy, and Adoree Jackson covering George Pickens with absolutely acres of space. And don't get me wrong, it's bad by Jackson. But you know my thing by now. I don't like criticising players. We know who they are. We know Jackson's not good enough. We know he's a substandard cornerback too. At this point, it's on your coaches, which they've done of late, to help him. And I didn't feel like they helped him very much. So there's this example here. If you go to play 7 of my film, Fred, as well, Shane, you'll see the exact same. You'll see play action dagger. And you can argue that, yes, George Pickens beats Adoree Jackson. He does. So get your stats out. Shout at me. Adoree Jackson is beat. You are correct. He also has an entire half of the field, basically, where he's covering a vertical route and anything that breaks in against, as I mentioned, possibly the best deep threat, one of the best guys in the league. It's really hard.
Well, also, can we mention that Reed Blankenship doesn't help him because Andrew Makuba is on CeeDee Lamb. Like, how do you have Andrew Makuba and Adoree Jackson on the 2 best receiving threats? What look causes this to happen? It's Cooper DeJean blitzing, which should just never happen, by the way.
Yeah, they blitzed DeJean. That's why they blitzed DeJean. But again, you've got Quinion Mitchell opposite the side of Pickens and Lamb. And I didn't like that. Then a couple of other plays I wanted to show, and you knew I was going to post this. There are some good plays on the thread, by the way. I just wanted to moan a little bit this week about the D because we've always been so positive. I don't need to talk about like Quinion Mitchell being great, and we know this. I'm trying to think of things that were new this week that I wanted to comment on. Play 11, just gonna glow. J-Rock on Discord, sorry my friend. I just don't think Cooper DeJean looked good on the outside. And of course he might learn, of course he might be fine, but to me his technique was not good enough. On the very first drive, Shane, there was a play he was outside and they ran a slant against him as well. And he was nowhere near the slant. He was nowhere near it. He didn't get near CeeDee Lamb on the deep shot. Yes, all right, penalty if you want to call it illegal contact. But CeeDee Lamb, I didn't call it. But he looked a little bit shaky. And I think we forget, this guy's a second-year player who only started playing midway through his first year. When he came out of college, he didn't have a clearly defined role. They were giving him snaps in safety last year. He's really knuckled down a position, and I don't like moving young, talented players. I would do everything I can to keep him inside. And one of the reasons why I would is because, final thing I'll say, but I'm out on this game, is play 14, is that if you are keeping him outside, it's because you are saying that Michael Carter is so much better than Kiddy Ringo that we must play Carter. Well, that's the same Michael Carter on the final drive of the game, when the game is on the line, who has got away with a lot of criticism because he's new this week. He basically ruined this drive and cost the Eagles the game at the end because he runs a ridiculously deep coverage on a flat and just runs straight into Quinion. And I'm telling you now, if that was Adore Jackson doing that, there'd be the Twitter brigade going absolutely mental. He has to get deep to run past Bourne, but then he's lost. He's like pointing at Quinion. He's a bit like, is it here? Is it here? And again, I'm not killing Carter. I'm not saying he's bad. I thought he was fine. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not moving Cooper DeJean outside because I'm desperate to get this guy on the field. And can I also just say, while I'm on my high horse, can we stop tweeting about Sidney Brown injuring Makuba? He's playing vertical safety and tackles Pickens in a good snap. It is not his fault that Makuba broke his ankle or whatever he did. Sidney Brown was actually fine for the most part, except for the player.
People are blaming Sidney Brown for that?
It's going everywhere. I'm not kidding. Guess who hurt Makuba? He's playing single high safety, chases him down and makes a really good tackle. Like, please, can we moan about things that matter? Yes, he is. If you look at Makuba, you will find Sidney Brown tweets, as Shane stalks Twitter now. If you find, like, who did it? Yeah, because of guess who. Told you. There is lots of them, Shane. So he's playing deep safety. He tackles Pickens.
He makes a tackle. That's stupid.
I'm not kidding. Google his name. It will be everywhere. It is actually a good tackle from single high safety.
I mean, he should take a little better angle, but that's not...
Yeah, but it's not a bad tackle in the end after the angle. I actually think he was all right, Sidney Brown. I'm sort of hoping that he can do something this week and not be a disaster, because the Eagles will need him to be.
That's the ultimate example of, like, twisting facts to suit the narrative that you already have about a player.
Oh, absolutely. People know, like, I'm not afraid to... I will never, ever, if I'm ever afraid to change, then moan. I never want to be afraid to change my opinions on things.
Yeah. So, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be in the playoffs, but you think about teams that have two really good receivers. So, I mean, you have the Rams with Puka and Devontae Adams. If the Bucs are able to get healthy,
they're sucking around.
I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Baker Mayfield better than Hurts in most rankings this year.
Yeah,
not been good.
I mean, the Seahawks have JSN, but they don't have a great second guy, right? So really, it's just the Rams. The Rams are the team you're worried about that have two great receivers.
Yeah.
If you play that team, do you just stick Quinion Mitchell on one of those guys and just follow
the thing
him
about
game?
Nakua is you can't, can you? Because Nakua is such a unique player. But I think you can argue that if Nakua is in the slot a lot, you can put DeJean when he goes inside and then just move Quinion around to Devontae. Or, I don't really even care about that, I would just flood the formation heavily to one side of the field if he's on the other side, which I don't think they did this week.
Yeah.
They didn't flood the coverage to one side of the field, which I've done in the past. I don't think you have to necessarily do that, but I think there's an argument. And by the way, just really quickly to finish off while we're on this, if you go, I think, play 13, if you have a look at play 13, this was at the end of the game on 4th and 1, and George Pickens is right one-on-one on Quinion Mitchell, and it's one reason why they stopped the play. So yeah, I just thought that was
ludicrous decision to go for that, by the way, by the Cowboys.
Yeah, really weird. But yeah, there we go. I think that's me done for the defense. I've got other things I want to say. Check the Bleeding Green article out. Check the Twitter thread out for a few other bits. But they were the main things I wanted to talk about on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think it was a good performance. As I said, I think the Eagles, I think defense got away a little bit from any criticism because the offense was just taking everything, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Jahad Campbell played 11 snaps in this game.
Yeah, I feel for him a little bit. But, like, I also can't complain, Shane. I don't think he should be playing edge at all. And it's hard to take the Comey Dean off. So I get it.
Yeah, I would rather, like I said, I'd rather him be a backup linebacker that doesn't play than be playing edge a bunch.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I agree.
What are the Eagles going to do? Are they going to? I mean, N'Kobe's going to walk in free agency, right? Next
Yeah.
after this season.
Campbell still played a fair amount early on in the year. If anything, the injury was quite good. He'll get some snaps. I don't worry too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, about it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that all ends up playing out. But
Yeah. Apparently, the DBs this week look all right because they think everyone's back, don't they, except Makuba.
yes.
So if Adoree Jackson's there, that makes, can't believe I'm saying it, a big difference.
Yeah.
Just because I think it stops you from moving the gene, as I've said.
Although it does look like Devontae Smith might miss the game.
Yeah, not ideal. I'm going to get into the preview. If you're not on Patreon, I like to think I've never got into preview stuff this year. It's the first year I've done it for Bleeding Green, first year I've done it for Patreon. I think my first 6 weeks sucked. Like, I had no idea how I was going to watch enough film. I think I've got it down to quite a good T at the moment. I think I've got enough film that I'm watching to build it. And I'm not saying this to brag because sometimes I get it horribly wrong. But the last few weeks, I've watched games and been like, yes, I've called this. Yes, I've called this. Yes, I've called this, which is really nice. So it tells me that I'm doing something right. So the feedback's been really good on Patreon the last few weeks because I've changed the format. If you are interested, please check it out. Support us. Patreon is where you can find the good stuff.
Yeah. A couple comments here from Brett Eclipse, and then we'll get out of here. Side question, can we convert Sidney Brown to a running back? Can't tell why, but I feel like his frame could allow him to be pretty competent.
Stick him at fullback.
His brother's a running back. I'm sure he
Yeah.
could teach him a few things, but
Just stick Sidney Brown at fullback, Ben Van Sumeren, reincarnation. Just run down the middle very hard and hit people.
Sidney Brown would have a 20-yard lane to the end zone and go out of his way to try to hit somebody instead of score a touchdown.
Get concussed every other week as well.
Yeah. Then he also said the Eagles would have to get by a fair amount of elite wide receiver duos in the playoffs. Puka and Devontae Adams, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka. So yeah, there's some good. They'll have to figure that part of it out. But I do think having Adoree Jackson back is big, which sounds crazy to say after what I thought about him early in the year.
Watch him get absolutely killed this week by Luther Burden. And we'll go, you idiots.
Yeah, and then hopefully Andrew Makuba is able to come back playoff time because he had gotten a lot better. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
It's a shame. Yeah.
So all right. Well, I think that is going to about do it for this one. Again, like Jonny said, if you guys want to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Eagles Film Room, I have up a past game review that I work through like 20 dropbacks and talk about all of that in depth. I also did a Saquon Barkley player spotlight, which is a lot of the run game stuff that we talked about early in this one, just kind of without Jonny's input. Jonny's going to be doing preview, so that'll drop tomorrow. Is that
Eric's
right?
already got, tomorrow will drop. I'm going to watch the film immediately after this. Eric's got his preview article out, which I haven't read because I never do until I do my stuff. But again, we've been quite similar in how we see a lot of things, which is always nice.
Yeah. So you can come check that out. Get a free 1-week trial of any tier at patreon.com/Eagles Film Room. Hope you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And
we don't celebrate it here, but for all you Americans. I was, sorry, just a side note before you finish. I was so confused. I was like, the Eagles are playing Friday. I didn't realize. I was like, Thanksgiving's Thursday. It's great timing for me, but like 8 o'clock on a Friday night in the evening. It's prime time. The annoying thing was I didn't realize it. So I would have gone out to a Philly bar or something. And I only realized it yesterday. And my wife was like, well, we've already got plans. I was like, damn. Not plans, but like, it's like kid plans. So I was like, I should have had that Friday night booked in the calendar. And I was like, why is it Friday night and Black Friday?
Yeah.
What a world we live in.
It's
what a
really
world
dumb.
we live in. Yeah.
So I hate that part of it, but I'm probably not going to get to watch that one live. I'm probably going to be on the road. So
also, I'm obviously very professional and I'm not looking at my phone watching Arsenal play. But shout out Arsenal winning 1-0 against Bayern Munich. If you're watching live, to the UK fans, we just scored. So shout out Gooners.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. You got the Americans, at least, I guess. Enjoy some turkey on Thursday. Enjoy watching the Cowboys lose to the Chiefs. And then be ready for Eagles Bears on Friday. We'll be back here next week breaking it all down. So until then, go Birds.